Welcome to Bond and Build with Chris and Cappy.
This is Chris.
And this is Cappy. And this is episode numero cuatro.
Oh my gosh.
So now before we dive into today's big topic, let's hit it with a little teaser. Have you ever wondered why fatherhood looks so different today than it did just a generation ago? Or why entrepreneurs are juggling their hustle without burning out? And here is a deeper one. Are we even forming our own beliefs anymore? Or are they just being shaped by invisible tech overloads? Well, stick around because in this episode, we're going to unpack the truth behind modern fatherhood, smart time management for business owners, and the provocative idea that the algorithm might just be our new god. So basically, today's subject is modern dads, work smarter, and who's controlling what we think.
Let's go.
Let's do this. So as usual, before we start, do not forget to connect with us on Instagram and TikTok at Fun and Build Podcast. I was having a brain fart. And follow us for updates there, and also DM us or comment any topic ideas you may have. You can do that under the YouTube videos too. Give us feedback. Make sure to follow us and subscribe on any of the channels, especially on YouTube, so you can have updates when new episodes are coming out, and they actually come out every Wednesday, so every week. And for those who want to have the background and show notes for the show, so you can have more information and more like research, because I always say make sure to do your own research. Do not take our word for it. It will always be on the website under the episode. Now, let's do this. Okay, so we are starting with relationship and family segment. Fatherhood today, what's changed? I think a lot has changed in today's family and the role of dads. I think a lot of things have changed in today, the way fathers are involved. I think fathers are a lot more involved than they used to be back in the days, but I still think that we overhype the father's involvement when you guys actually do something. Like, it's like, do you want a cookie? It's
Do y'all want a
you
cookie?
guys do more now than before, but I mean, it's like it's called two parents, not one parent. And I think I could understand a little bit more back in the days because the mother stayed home, like it was really stay-home moms, and then the dad was the breadwinner.
So you're coming to bash the dads in this conversation.
No, I'm just coming with facts. But now it's like in modern, like somebody like me, I'm like conservative modern woman. So it's like I love working. I love taking care of the home, but I don't think you should get a cookie for taking care of your child. Like, nobody gives me a cookie for taking care of the kid. Why do you get a cookie to take care of the kid? It's a metaphor.
I'm just
Leave me alone with the cookie. But it's like, whoa, he changed a diaper. Woo, you got yourself a winner. Like, bro, I changed like 20 diapers today. Where the frick is my trophy?
Yeah, but the difference is, again, most guys that's not considered as a woman thing. So it is an improvement, whether it's small or large. Just like saying, oh, you fixed the toilet or you fixed a light bulb. Okay, you put it in. Good job. Are we supposed to do that same thing too? Do you want a cookie now because you went out put out the trash today? I'm just saying.
Well, I like, I don't want to toot my own horn, but it's like for a normal woman, then maybe, but I can change plumbings. I can change lights fixtures. I can build furnitures. Like,
Today.
you know, like I can do a lot of things. So technically, yes, I do. If I don't get cookies for these things, I don't think you deserve a cookie for changing one diaper throughout the day. Like, no. I think things have become different. So I don't think we should be handing out cookies for doing your parental duties. I don't think cookies should have never been handed out for doing your parental duties. Especially now that women are sharing even more of the workload. Like, I don't know. So that's my personal
I think you're losing
opinion.
focus.
No, because it goes with fatherhood. Like, guys are more involved now, but I think they're getting too much praise for things. Don't worry, I have good stuff to say in the future comments too. I don't think it was a bad thing, but it's just like, oh, your father never changed a diaper. Well, that's your bad for allowing him to do that.
I think that is true.
Like,
You set the boundaries in a relationship.
exactly. Like, I don't have to do everything. Like, a woman shouldn't have to do everything. And honestly, even if a woman is a stay-at-home wife, I still think that the dad should be more involved because it's also a bonding. Yes, changing a shitty diaper is a bonding experience with your child, but guys are more involved in that way today. So I can say that. And I think guys have come a long way in changing diapers and getting more involved with dropping off at school and stuff like that. So we have come a long way, but I don't think we should be handing out cookies, especially in very conservative families. I guess that goes piggyback on the conservative that we had last week. Families that we talk about, like, Indians and stuff, like the man isn't supposed to do all these things. Like, but why not? But I think in modern days, it's come a
I
long
think it really
way.
just depends on. I think it depends on the woman too, because some women, they are fine with that role. Let's be clear that yes, it is okay for the guys to be involved, but don't go bashing the guys because they did not for a reason. Like some women just understand that that's their role. Now if you have the more progressive women that want to do that, like more aggressive, you're becoming in the conversation over here, tooting your own horn over too much. But yeah, I think it's just understanding that you have to understand who your partner is and what you expect from them. I mean, if the woman expects the guy to help out more, then I don't think there should be nothing wrong with that. I don't see that as a big deal. I did it. We both took turns on everything. I changed diapers. I picked him from school. I bathed him. I've done all that stuff already. So I don't think that's necessarily like a too much to ask. But I think still the woman should be the majority person that deals with those things.
Yeah, I'm fine with that because we're mothers and I think we're more maternal. And yes, we didn't have that problem in this relationship, but that's also because I think, like you said, you have to establish the boundaries. So it goes with communication. But my mother was handing out cookies to Chris. Oh my God, you found a good one. He changed diapers. Like, what? She never get turned my horns for changing diapers. Like, really, bro?
Because you're supposed to.
No, because my father didn't do jack crap.
Exactly what I said.
She comes from a generation of like, he didn't do nothing.
That's what I said. You have to understand the boundaries and the guy you have to see whether if he's a useless guy before. Let's be clear. If the guy was useless from before, he didn't really do much. Don't expect him because you have a kid. All of a sudden, he's gonna change diapers. It ain't gonna happen.
They had so many kids, and I don't think he's ever changed a diaper
Like
in
as you
his
said,
life.
as you said with your dad, like your mama brought him the plate of food, like he didn't wash dishes. So if he knew that stuff before, ladies, please don't expect him to go all of a sudden now become this amazing person because he's a dad. It ain't gonna happen.
That's very true. That
So if your guy is very traditional from the beginning, he's most likely gonna continue being
in fatherhood
exactly like that in there. So don't blame the dude because I'm all alone. No, that's who he was. That's how he's gonna stay.
It's back to the relationship conversations we've had too. That's something you should discuss before having kids, in my opinion. Basically it falls under your parenting style. That would fall under parenting style.
Yeah, to me, that's when you getting into a relationship, you have to go and ask those questions. To me, the earlier on, the better to see where this is going to go, what kind of guy you are, because you can go into it 2 years later and realize, oh, I don't want kids. I don't like kids. Or maybe you don't want to get married. Like, I mean, you should know these things from early on.
Definitely.
As awkward as it may be to be asking about marriage, but, I think it is what it is.
Well, at a certain point in your relationship, it shouldn't be awkward. Like, if it wasn't awkward for you guys to sleep together, you should be able to talk about marriage at some point. Like,
so I guess day one is the time then.
Anyways, that would be a conversation for another time. So apparently some research says that children have the father spent with the time fathers spend with their children has tripled since 1965. That went very far in time. I would hope so, because I would hope, society changes. And more than half of fathers nowadays, they say they're more involved in parenting. They are just as involved. So more than half is good, which I agreed that now guys are way more involved. And the US Census data shows that the number of stay-at-home dad has doubled since the 1980s, late 1980s. That's actually interesting, the stay-at-home dad. So now, I guess because a lot more, either the dad is working from home or the mom is in charge of bringing the money and the dad are staying at home. What do you think of that?
I don't think I would want that role, even if you were making more money. I mean, that's like, I'm sorry, guys, but that's not a man's role. I'm sorry. That's never gonna win for me. Nothing wrong with helping out if you once and every now and then, but to say like she's the breadwinner, you're staying at home. No, I don't see that. That's just the roles are flipped, and you know who is wearing the pants. I'm sorry.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I do find it weird. Like, I don't know. But I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It just wouldn't work for me. Like you said, even if I made more money, I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know. But if it works for you, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Some guys are very nurturing, and so I think it could work. It works for some families. Whatever works, as long as the kid is loved, safe, and getting all its needs, I think it's
And
fine.
I think it maybe depends too on the age gap. Like, I don't think I want to have that role at, let's say, 2 months, 3 months, to like maybe after 2 years, I could manage that. But to say like,
Because you can change diapers.
not just the diapers, but that's more important. And that disconnection will definitely cause some type of an issue with that kid, I'm sure. Being now the dad is not a role and the mom is the one who's gone. There has to be some kind of a stats on that type of stuff where you lost that mother figure, especially if it's a boy. The mom is always out. You don't get that love from your mother. Whereas,
Actually, that's true.
especially with boys always get more towards their mother. That's always a loving thing. And how that plays, I can't really say exactly.
My baby.
But I would like to see how those relationships change the kid, because I know like there's a mama's boy, so what, the boys become daddy's boy in those situations? Is that how that relationship would change?
I don't know, but not even based on the sex of the kid, but it's true on the attachment, because you should spend a certain amount of time
Both
with the kid.
Yeah.
Period. As a mother.
Yeah.
I think there's attachment period time frame or something like that. So I don't know. But I do see it's like it happens a lot more than it used to. Well, I don't think it ever used to really happen, period T. Unless maybe the dad was disabled and it was easier for him to stay home and then the wife's working, I'm assuming. I think society's expectation of fathers has evolved a lot. We expect now, I think in our relationships, the dad to be a lot more involved, and I think they are.
And this too, especially, I guess when you have a kid, we have that friend in common. He said that between his first kid and his second kid, they're miles apart different, because he had it with two different mothers. And I guess also with the first one, I guess he was more disconnected on that initial part of it. And then we get into the details, but because this one, the second, you would think for him, this is his second kid, so he sees it as a little bit different. But for her, it was a totally new experience. So she definitely needed that more help in the situation versus, but for him, it's like, I've been there, done that already, so it became a lot harder for him, involvement wise and need wise, in the second kid, which was kind of interesting to see.
I have no idea who we're talking about.
I don't want to
So-
put. I don't want to
No,
put.
I know. So I'm gonna be asking after the show on who the heck we're talking about. I guess yeah, fathers are supposed to have the discipline role in the relationship, where the mother creates the more nurturing emotional role.
Well, just to throw out some stats here along this topic, it says 1 in 4 children in the U.S., about 18.4 million, live without a biological stepdad or adoptive father in the home.
Basically, just a father figure
Father figure, yeah.
in any way.
But 1 in 4 is a pretty bad stat to say that that amount of kids don't have a dad in their home.
I personally thought it would have been higher than 1 in 4.
Yeah, still that's a lot.
Like, you see so many single parents now; it's ridiculous.
And they say the kids are 4 times more likely to live in poverty, 7 times more likely to become pregnant as a teen, 2 times more likely to drop out of high school, 2 times more likely to be obese. Wow, that's kind of crazy. Your kid becomes, gains more weight because they don't have a father. That's interesting. More likely to abuse drugs and alcohol and to be incarcerated because they don't have a dad. That all shows you how important that keeping that relationship with the father is important, whether you're necessarily together. But I think involvement would help your kid so much more in the future. But I think the biggest problem with that, which we discussed that before, is that it's always easy to have the dad in the picture when there is not another potential dad. When you're single, it's okay. But when you find another person in the picture, the relationship becomes very awkward because there's a third wheel in the picture. And then, but it really depends on what kind of guy you have, what kind of relationship you have, whether it becomes a toxic relationship or not. That's the part that gets crazy. But I think it's important that they are somewhat around as much as possible.
I have a couple of things on that. So first of all, the dad having both parents, I think, in the home is super important, and the dad has a very big role. And that I'm just gonna touch on the subject because it fits in that, but I think that would be a show by itself. I have it scheduled as a whole show. The government knows the importance of, I guess, what you call the nuclear family, like having a whole family, which is why when they started the whole separations of removing Black men in their homes, when they start building those ghettos, I guess what you would call like now Section 8 and stuff, basically public housing and stuff like that, they realized that if they could, they started giving money, the whole Medicare, well, not Medicare, Medicaid, but the whole, what do you call that?
Yeah,
Stamp, not food stamp, but all those government programs. I can't think of the word right now, but all those government programs where you get money from the government, they started giving out more money to Black women if the man wasn't living in the home. So now, if you're already living in poverty and you're realizing that you can make more money, you can get more free money to help you put food on the table. If the guy is not in the home, the guy is going to start living outside of the home. So now those children started being raised by basically single women because the dad isn't there. He has to live somewhere else. And it started the beginning of where we are today. And where we are today is that, especially in Black families, Black home, I think more Black American than Caribbean background. I think because generations before it started, now we're at a point where all those girls are having different baby daddies. They're used to being single women, so many dads, and now they're minimizing the importance of the dad in the home. And my second point on that too is that's with also the hip hop and stuff is all in the push agenda. They're making it seem like the man in the home is so unnecessary and like, like we're allowed to curse on here. So like you ain't shit. Like I don't need you, this kind of vibe of attitude and pushing the guy. Or if you have an issue with the guy, you don't want him around the kid and you're using your kid as a weapon, even if the man wants to be involved. And two things with that. Once you have a kid, it's not about you. it's about the kid. So if you have an issue, you don't have to talk to the guy. You can just schedule the pickup. He can go with his dad, he or she can go with their dad and come back. So you shouldn't use a child as a weapon because they need their father and their mother in their life to grow up to be fully, like healed, functioning humans. And it was done by design when they tried to take Black families out, but Black people don't realize all this and they continue the nonsense. And now we are in today where it's so sad. Like some men want to be involved in their kids' life, and these girls just use it as weapons and minimizing the importance and make men feel like shit. Like, and I don't think it's right. Like children need to have both a man and a woman in their life so that they can grow up without mommy issues or daddy issues.
Yeah, that's definitely a big problem, because especially it's with boys and girls, because I think definitely works two ways. You want the man to help establish the boy to be
A man.
a man. Yeah. You want good manners, how to treat a woman, how to treat their mother. That's one important part that they won't learn if there's not a mother. They just treat women like shit, because if they have a good relationship at home, they would see how to treat women by themselves. And then also how to just be a strong, decent man. Understand boundaries, rules, regulations, respect law and order. Because it starts at home. If you don't respect, your dad in the house, you typically don't respect anybody, because that's like the alpha top dog right there to anybody.
That's true.
If you don't have that guy, somebody telling you, how to behave and calm your ass down, you're gonna go out and do nuts in the street, because nobody can tell me nothing, because I'm the boss here in that relationship. And for the women, well, the young girls in this situation too, that's why you get so many hoes, because their daddies ain't putting their ass in line,
Well, I don't think that's that. Only
Well,
that
not only
is
that,
to show
but-
you, as long as the relationship is good at home, so you can see what it looks like to be treated in a relationship.
Yeah. Goes back to the same thing again. You want to see a good example of how a man should treat you versus going out there in the streets and looking for any type of just one-off type of stuff.
But that's also depending on whether you have a good home too. So I think that matters as well. I also don't think people should stay together for children.
Yeah.
Like, because kids are not stupid. They can feel it. Even if you try to fight behind, first, they can hear you half the time. Second, kids have like that sense. They feel things and they know they're not stupid. Like you've heard kids tell their parents when they get older and they're like, oh, we're going to divorce. Oh, you guys should have divorced when I was like 5. Like, you know what I mean? So kids are not stupid. They know. So don't also stay. But yeah, do not minimize the importance of a man in a relationship.
And then that's why they're doing the whole rap music too. They're
Mhm.
promoting all the music now is promoting being a hoe and WAP, wet ass pussy, whatever,
It's
and that type
all
of
by
stuff.
design.
It's all by design, because they're thinking it's okay. Like, let's go back to the whole shaming of things in private, like home. Nothing. There's no guy. It's all cool when you're young, but at a certain point, the guys don't want a hoe. It's realistic. And if you're known to be a hoe, like, it's like, I don't know, you can just start over somewhere else, because nobody wants a hoe. Sorry.
And no, that is not woman empowerment.
Tell that to the generation.
It really isn't. That is just not cute. Let's bring shame back. Like, I don't know, something back, or morals or something, but it is not cute. Forget the men. It's just not cute for yourself. Like, I don't want my children hearing. You listen to music and it's just like, and I can even say now, because now I listen to songs that we used to listen to and I actually pay attention to the words and I'm like, oh my God, I sang this thing back then. And then you realize it was like about younger girls, but maybe we should have a show about the just music industry. I'm going to add that to the list. So I guess one point too, I forgot to touch, since we're talking about the shift in how it has changed. It has also changed, yes, in workplace policies has changed for some, I guess in some places, companies, I think a lot in Europe. Also, you get paid paternity leave more than you used to. It's increased 8% since 2018. which I never realized, never thought about it, that it was a thing, but I've seen stuff that apparently is also more in Europe. Europe is more like, well, in Europe, you also get like, I think some crazy time off for women after giving birth. So in America, they expect you to be there back like the next day, but that's a whole different story too. And then fathers now represent 17% of all stay-at-home parents compared to just 10% in 1989. So that was in 2021. It came 17% up.
One thing I think that has also changed is I think a lot of guys now try harder to fix the cycle of their past, what they had with their dad, that they want to be in the role a lot more than they used to. A lot of that, especially all the guys who had the single dad syndrome where their dad was not involved, they want to fix that in this cycle a lot more than they used to before.
That's true.
They want to at least somewhat, even if it doesn't work out, as you said, they want to still definitely try and be there more than they would have.
That's true. So I guess new challenges father faces, basically the same challenge women have faced, but since we're handing out cookies for guys, balancing modern parenting with career pressures. Like women do that all the time, but since we're handing out cookies, congratulations for being a dad and having a job. Whoa! You should try doing house duties with it. Anyways, overcoming stereotypes that fathers can be as nurturing or capable as mothers. I think some fathers do pretty good as that. Co-parenting with blending families. I think people have come a long way with that. I've seen some people do some great co-parenting, and I've seen some super shitty co-parenting. So I think it really depends on the person and as an individual, like, are you going to use it? You know what we're talking about. Are you going to use your personal feelings against, the dad instead of putting the kids first? Or are you guys going to put your issues aside and just deal with your children? As you should.
You know something that's kind of crazy right here? Boys without fathers are more likely to have behavioral issues, and girls are more likely to experience low self-esteem and relationship instability in adulthood. That says a lot about what's going on in this country right now, where everybody's just going nuts. So all the robberies and all the nonsense that's happening, those stats are probably a lot higher with what's happening in this country now. Everybody going in the streets just doing all this craziness, all the robbing and all the stuff that's happening with all the cars and everything like that. I think that's definitely a problem.
Yeah, I guess because it does seem like it comes from more families with single parents. But you can't judge because I don't know the stats on that. But I wouldn't be surprised. It would make sense. So I guess in general, we're just like moving where the fathers are becoming more involved and more hands-on. I think that's a good thing. I hope to find more of that, but I hope that mother-in-laws and mothers just stop handing out cookies for doing the bare minimum.
I think one thing that has also changed now is I think dads are opening up more on their own feelings, personal feelings, or getting more help and support from whether it's other dads, support groups. That's been something that I've seen a lot these days on Facebook, especially.
Because you have that guy group.
Yeah, that a lot of guys looking for help and support on how to do situations versus because you used to have a lot of burnout things inside where you're just getting depressed and nuts, killing yourself because just life just gets rough sometimes.
I think that would be another topic, but yeah, I think guys, and I was watching a video about that's a different pressure because guys are supposed to be stronger. You can't really express your feeling because then you're like, it makes you like a wuss. But if you you don't express your feelings, and you're not communicating properly. But then it's like a stupid cycle. So that was a very deep video, but it was good. And I guess, yeah, that is a topic too, but that's more, I guess, on the guy issues. But I think we've come a long way, especially now since everyone is open about like therapy and stuff like that, which before that wasn't a thing at all. So Maybe we're doing better with that. So to recap this, we do need fathers in the home. If you think we don't, it was made by design, but we do. Kids need that structure of a man and a woman in the home. Guys, the role in guys, for dads, is changing. Guys are becoming more nurturing. And you guys have come a long way. And I guess now families are looking a little different with the dad staying home, the mom working, so I guess it's whatever works for your home. But the main point on this is yes, dad are needed for the children.
The stats don't lie, people.
Facts.
Just look it up. I mean, you don't have to believe us, but look at the stats. It says a whole different thing on what the guy's involvement is. So if you're a single mother, definitely go out there and try and figure out a way to get that guy back in somehow. Or I guess if not, at least definitely
a father figure.
Or find a father figure. Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah,
have
it
to
could
be
be
that
a
guy, but
stepdad.
he needs to have, him or her needs to have a dad, but that gets complicated to the child extent to whether they want to accept that person. But, you know, do what you can.
All right. So now let's go into the second part of the show. Entrepreneurship, time management tips for busy entrepreneurs balancing work and personal life. This should be an interesting subject because I don't think Chris has any work-life balance, time management. So I would love to see. Oh, no. I suck at it. But I thought I was going to skip this subject, but Chris said we should talk about it. And it's not because I don't think it's an important subject, but I don't think we're any expert in this subject. But I guess we could bring in our point of view in it and maybe what I would like, meaning like what I would think would be that where I'm trying to get to. Just, I guess, a different perspective. But
the thing about this also is it's about having information. You're never going to get to be able to fix a problem if you don't understand what the options are either. Because if you don't know what to do, how are you going to get there? What if you don't know how to manage your time?
I get it.
Well, you know the things, but it's a matter of, I think the problem with us especially is that I don't think we necessarily, it could help and improve us, but I don't know if it's necessarily needed 100% in our lives, that it became a problem that is distracting us from getting something done. Because I think our time is pretty flexible is what the issue is with us.
I don't think it matters because every entrepreneur's time is flexible, but they still have a schedule. Yeah. Anyways, we're going to get into the topic. So my personal struggle is, well, I guess that's kind of what you were talking about. But what I think is I'm always trying to figure out a schedule. I love notebooks and agendas. I live for that. As a Capricorn, I love it. But I feel like I haven't found anything that works for me specifically. Like I'm always trying new things, or sometimes I know what I need to do, but I don't do it. Where Chris doesn't really care for an agenda or a schedule or a Google chart, or you just don't care for this kind of stuff.
No, because I just do it. That's the difference. If it's something I want to do, you know me. If it's something I'm going to buy, do something I do right away. Whereas you're going to write it down, you're going to forget about it, and you come back to it a week later, 2 weeks later, I have to harass you about it. Whereas me, I'm going to try. Either I'm doing it then, or I'm probably never just going to do it, whatever it is.
Okay, well, I would like to be specific. It's stuff that you want to put on my schedule. So I have my schedule and I apply just fine by that.
Okay.
So
we're clear. We work together. It is a business. So it's something that she has to do. So I don't know how it became my task, but clearly it's something that she's supposed to handle. But anyways, she can go ahead and deflect.
Okay. This is not deflecting, but whatever. According to a 2020 survey by Harvard Business Review, 87% of executive and managers agreed that poor time management reduces team productivity and morale. Burnout, you can have a lot of burnout, and the importance of prioritizing. A study published in the Journal of Business Venturing found that entrepreneurs who regularly review and reprioritize their tasks had higher long-term business performances and lower stress levels. So I think it is, I live for a to-do list. Yes, I might not get all the time through it, but I think it's important to have a to-do list because then if your things are always in your head, first, you're going to forget it. Second of all, chances of it not getting done are higher. And third, at least it's easier when you see it all and then you can just go through it. But they also tell you that when you have a checklist and you check things off, it creates endorphins. Like it makes you happy because you're getting things done. Oh, like, I love checking things off a list. Like you have to write it just so you can check it off.
Yeah, but that's also a whole industry that created for your women. We all have these cute little agendas and you have these cute books, but that's the most important part is it looks cute, but half the stuff is irrelevant inside because you don't
That's
follow
not
it.
true.
Okay.
And don't be a hater.
Mm-hmm.
Agendas and stickers are life.
Yeah. And so we're clear, I do have tasks. When I have my tasks, I put it in my phone. It tells me to do it and I keep moving in a day, another 2 days if
Yeah,
I
we
need
get
it,
the little Indian beeping.
if you need to get it done. But yeah, as I said, I like to just do it or remember.
Okay. So do you have any strategies that work specifically for you?
My organization skills are not the greatest, but as far
But
as
is there like anything like
I have a reminder app on my phone, that's my main thing I do. If I have something I have to remember, I just put it in there. It reminds me in whether it's for tomorrow, next week, 2 weeks from now, if something I really have to remember, I put it in there. But most of the time, I just try to remember it in general. If it's a task that I have to do, we go ahead and we tag it in our emails. If it's something I need to respond to or something to work on, we have it tagged for us. And
yeah, that's one thing that's useful. Emails are tagged at the beginning of the day by who needs to achieve what. So like you can color code the email subject, whatever, by colors. What's the email program we use?
look, no, Thunderbird.
Thunderbird. And then it allows you to color code. So we have like Chris to do, Cappy to do, whoever else to do. And then if something's been done, quoted. So we have tags so everybody can be on the same page. So that's a good tip for time management.
And I guess for us, and since we do printing and stuff like that, we have folders that kind of like the job status of everything, whether it's in production, artwork, pre-press. We also have the software side of things, but I guess that's not necessarily on the personal management and notes side of things.
No, but since it's for entrepreneurs, that helps too. So whatever service you offer, having things properly split, just like your CRM, your customer service, CRM. What the fuck is customer retention management? Whatever. It's where you put all your customers' information in and you track the process. And that looks different for everyone depending on what your process is. So it would be kind of like that. And a lot of like companies in manufacturing may have like folders that would go from department to department, or now people use more SaaS. So you will have like softwares and then your CRM is a similar concept. But I know because I'm always trying new things for time management. It says that it's better. There's research that says that it's better. I'll find it at some point. I'm always reading the facts. That is better for you, for people to always try new things and try work. I do that a lot. I'm always trying new sleep schedule routine to find what works for me. Because if you don't try it, you won't know. To know what time you operate better, like Chris operates way better at night. He's a night owl. Then he's not a morning person at all.
Yeah, I like my sleep.
Where I don't like to wake up, but I like to start the day earlier than later. So you have to find whatever works for you, right? For your schedule wise, like find what your balance is. Then time blocking. A lot of people I follow always talk a lot. I just realized that a lot about time blocking, and I've tried that. I think it works well. The only thing that hasn't worked well with me for time blocking. So time blocking is, let's say On Monday, you're going to do all your marketing. You might record all your social media videos, schedule all your social media. So Monday is for marketing. Tuesday might be your sales. You're calling clients, following up, and stuff like that. So you're blocking time for either by day or you can block it by schedule. Morning is your follow-ups. Afternoon, you reach out to clients. Night might be quotes. So you're just blocking everything into chunks together that are similar tasks that you would have to repeat. So I've tried that for social media management, which is great. But then I forget the next month to do it on the same time frame. So like, I think maybe it's because it would be easier if I did like the first of every month is social instead of like, you just have to get in the habit of doing it. But I think time blocking system is really good. And I think it's one of the most popular systems for time management.
I think that's a very good thing I would love to do that. Honestly, think about it all the time, but it's just to me it's creating a habit of it, and
that's really what it is.
And I guess learning the process and liking the results from it. But I'm kind of, maybe you want to say ADD, ADHD,
all over the place.
Whatever.
Yes.
I'm a very all over the place. I kind of like it that way, honestly, whether it's a good result or not. But I like that system, honestly. I find
the all over the place system. That is not a system.
I find it's worked for me. It hasn't. It could definitely be improved. I don't know if it would necessarily improve much, but it's worked for me. I mean, I'm kind of always finding some new tools, something to do, or some tinker on something.
Yes, definitely. I could agree to that. Always a goddamn new tool. Sorry for the cursing. God name in vain, whatever. Learning to say no to non-essential tasks. I've learned to do that a lot more. I guess Chris has concurred to that. If I don't, I would just ignore it. Like it doesn't belong to my to-do list. I'll get to it when I'm ready. And yeah, I already have my stuff on my to-do list.
Yeah, I think the thing right there is to figure out what your priorities are for the day or your schedule is what it is. Because I tend to spend a lot of time just not focused on what really needs to be done and then working on other stuff. I'm like, no, this is really what the priority is that needs to be accomplished. Let's put that to the front, and all other stuff is like, back burner.
Well, I feel like we're losing focus because then it's really what priority is in the eye of the beholder at that point. But that's a whole different conversation. Delegating and outsourcing. So I think it's very important to learn to delegate. The problem with some people, and I am some people, is you always think that you can do everything better than someone else. So you're going to focus on doing it all. And then at the end of the day, nothing might get done because you thought you could do it all yourself instead of delegating. Right now, I'm reading this book, an audiobook. I can't think of the book name at the moment, but it tells you basically that whatever, let's say you get paid $10 an hour, like my hourly rate is $10. If I have a task that's like half, anything that's $5 or less, let's say I might be doing, so maybe checking my own emails or like, some little task, that you should hire someone to do that in order for you to grow. So you should have an assistant to handle that. And some people think that they can do it all and don't want to spend that money. But everybody, I guess he has, because he's a coach for that or whatever, everybody he's put and he's taught to do that have like tripled their businesses and stuff.
Well, I think that the thing with that is to really do a cost analysis and see what's more important of your time. Like if you're
that's basically
you're a small business, maybe a 1-person, 2-person shop, it really depends on how valuable that time is, a loss or a gain to you. If you need to go out and do sales, then definitely, if you're a salesperson in the business, I think wasting your time on designing flyers and stuff like that is definitely a no. It's not going to make you more money. So I think you'll afford to be able to go ahead and pay that person. But if you're, let's say, you don't have it, you're a new business, you can't afford it, designing the flyer might make a little bit more sense because, it's like I have the time and I don't have the money. So maybe figuring it out is a little bit easier. So that's the part you have to kind of figure out what's more valuable to you. And if you can afford to do it, I always say then definitely yes, spend it. Like even with us, like I keep telling all the time, like some of the stuff you're doing is like pointless. Why don't we just get a person to just do it? To just go ahead and do the social media or whatever it is.
We can agree with that.
Or even to say type out emails and put them in a database. It's like, why don't we just, pay a person to do it? Because it's getting dragged on. You keep saying you're going to do it and you don't ever do it. And then it's been so much time past that task should have been completed, but it was not accomplished. But again, it comes down to whether you have the cash to go ahead and pay for it or you don't. And that's where it comes down to. But just touch on that, guys. These days, everything's getting a lot easier with all the remote work, whether it's, people in the US, whether it's people overseas. There's a lot of
Online.
online.
You can outsource.
Stuff like Fiverr is booming for that exact same reason because they have, for any budget, any task you want to have, whether it's the bookkeeping, you hate doing bookkeeping.
You can get a virtual assistant.
Virtual
The
assistant
person
to go
doesn't
ahead
have to
and
be here.
respond to you. Let's say you're a person who spends a lot of time out on the streets. You know what? Instead of the office ringing and nobody's picking up, you can have a company, a virtual assistant, take your call, take a message, answer basic questions for you versus, missing those potential leads that, they called and nobody was picking up the phone or whatever it is. Because if you're out on the road and busy doing sales or something like that, who's the one dealing with the back end of things?
But that's something that's very true. So back to that, and you were saying that when I said the book explains that, is something I've had to battle with. And I guess when you read more books or you hear it from someone else, it clicks better. And I'm more working on that. So these days, what I'm working on is I'm working more on putting processes together so that we could eventually outsource those tasks so there is more time for other stuff.
If you notice her face, she's there stuttering because we have this conversation all the time that, I tell her something, but, it doesn't get applied until somebody else tells her that. And apparently,
well, the guy in the book is more important than you. He knows better. He has a book, so he's an expert. You're not an expert. Put out a book and maybe I'll listen to you.
And I guess it's the same. It must be in the genes because our son is exactly the same
way.
way.
Waiting for you to say that.
It's like hearing it from somebody else who's, I guess, an expert is somehow better or more. I don't know what's the word. It's more. It's heard better and absorbed in the brain by these other people
So true.
Somebody who's told you. But that's just
It is what it is.
It is. I can't say it's necessarily wrong. It's just how society is. But hearing it from somebody else that's maybe as an exporter, you seem as like
that's not your parents or your spouse. That's really what it is.
Yeah. When I speak to Cappy, it goes like this everywhere else, but in here.
Anyways, then so I think time blocking, learning to say no, delegating and outsourcing. And by the way, that's not only for entrepreneurs. I think the delegating and outsourcing should be also like, it's a great tip for home. So if you hate, now I don't know what's the name of the app, but you can outsource just like someone coming to fold your laundry or something, like just like little tasks. So if you need the time, and back to also if you can afford it, but sometimes you think you can't afford it, but if you do the math, the time you spend doing something like, you might just be like, back to what you were saying with the flyer, you might think because you can do the flyers, but if it's taking you 4 hours to do the flyer, and in those 4 hours you could have made 3 calls, you had the potential of making $500, where you could have paid a graphic designer $80 for that flyer. You would have made $420. You paid the designer $80. He would have given you that flyer in what, an hour or 24 hours, because they have a, like their own schedule. But the point is, you would have saved time, because sometimes it takes so much time. It's like me, I keep saying I'm going to do the bookkeeping, and bookkeeping doesn't happen. So it's like, it's better to look into someone doing it. Like, there's things that, and I think it's just entrepreneurs, And I guess certain type of people, you're like, oh, I can do this, do this, do this. And then, yeah, it doesn't get it done. So you can outsource, you can use that in your work, but also in your personal life. So you can outsource like cooking, or sometimes doing a meal plan, buying those little ready food. You think it's more, but if the meal plan is $150 for the week and you're by yourself and you're doing groceries and you're spending maybe $100 doing the groceries, so you're saving $50, but now you have to cook every day for 2 hours. Maybe that's sometime you need to do self-care, and that matters because it's good for your mental, and you're going to be more productive at work and in your life. So you're going to be happier. You're going to produce better at work. So you might make more money because you might get a raise if you're working for someone else. So you always have to look at the pros and the cons, and it's not only the money, but it's the time it's saving you or the happiness it's
Yeah.
saving you. And I think that's something that should be counted in those tasks.
Yeah, that's also good because that's also part of the whole managing your time is also getting back more time. So like let's say
Yeah.
stuff like the gym. Like I think having a gym time is very important. The self-care time, working on the gym for hour, 2 hours a day, to fit that in there, you have to get back your time somewhere else in doing that too. So I think that's very important that you figure out a way to bring back that time. Let's say the meal plan, as you were saying, spending 2 hours cooking a day versus, I want to head to the gym, and then you got to spend time with your family at home, or TV time, or wife time, or kids time. That cutting out that cooking time might alleviate a bit more time in your schedule to do something for you.
And it might be worth that extra $20.
Or say if you have to maybe pay somebody to go ahead and fix, this task at how or paint the wall, like just sometimes might be cheaper. Just go ahead and hire somebody.
Yeah. Or then you wasted the whole day. Like, you have to figure out, it's not only money spent. Sometimes it might be time and happiness. So you have to calculate money, time, and happiness.
That's also add in also the quality. Sometimes you think maybe you're awesome. Some people, you might be, let's say, painting the wall, you think you're awesome, but we look at it like, that looks like shit. But if you hired someone that actually did it properly, it might actually look good. So let's not, add that also. Maybe accounting or whatever.
Yeah.
You're learning accounting, but maybe there's tricks in there or something that may be faster because you think you're learning, you're saving time by doing it yourself, but then it's maybe not that good because you're not an expert. People are expert for a reason sometimes.
Yeah. I saw something the other day it was on a YouTube video, and they said that Jewish people, you would never see Jewish people do anything. Was it Jewish people or Amish people? One of the other. Irrelevant. There's like a group of people that they will never do anything that is not out of their expertise. So if your business is cutting grass, you're going to cut grass, but you're not going to like paint the wall or anything. They will always hire an expert in their field to do different, like the task that needs to be done. They're not going to learn anything outside of their expertise. And I guess that works for them because they're making money. So yeah, sometimes we think we're saving, but we're not. So we have to learn to really, work on that. So that's the fact I was looking for. Time blocking. A 2021 productivity report by Rescue Time found that workers who use time blocking are 80% more productive than those who work from an open-ended to-do list. So Chris is said he's gonna start trying to time block. We'll let you know how that's working. And then the value of delegation. Another study revealed that CEOs who excel at delegation generate 33% more revenue than those who don't. That's going to be us because I'm working on putting my processes so we could delegate more. So this year, we're going to grow 33% more in revenue. Watch out. And health and creativity connection. Researchers from the University of Illinois shows that taking regular breaks improve mental agility and decision-making, critical skills for entrepreneurs. That's true. That's a thing that I've seen too. That's a tip for time management is everybody has a different time. Some people tell you should work in 90 minutes time increments. Some people say take a break every 25 minutes. So I say whatever works for you, but you need to take breaks. They say it's good to take walking breaks to go outside because first you get the walk, which is good to put you back together. You get fresh air, sun. We need vitamin D to be healthy. So I think a walk outside is good, but you just need to take some kind of break with whether it's an hour, 40 minutes, but you have to have breaks to reset your brain. So that's a proven thing. I forgot to mention that. So managing personal and family time, setting clear work hours. So I think it's important, but I don't think it's necessary. I found that I don't really care about a specific schedule. Like I might start cooking lunch in the middle of the day, especially since we've been working from home. I don't know. As long to me is as long as the work gets done, that's all that matters. And also because one of my goal this year is work smarter and not harder. So you know they have a lot of what do you call that? Manifest, you know, when you repeat the stuff, inspirational quotes and stuff, the harder I work, the more money I make. No, 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 no. I don't want to work harder. The smarter I work, the more money I make. I want to work smarter and I want to work less. I want to have more free time. I want to be more on my European lifestyle. Like, I want to live my best life. So I love working, but I guess the thing is, I want to work when I want to work, and I want to be doing whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. And I think Americans were just like focus on work, 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 fast paced life. And people feel like if I'm not working from like 8 to 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., I haven't accomplished anything in my life. I don't want to work 8 hours to feel accomplished. I want to have systems that work for me and I still make the same amount of money. And I think that should be the goal. Like, we don't have to be killing ourselves at work to make it seem like we've accomplished something, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I think in this case right here is more about, I guess in our case, we're always together. So it's a bit different in an example where you're saying where our schedule is very flexible because we work together.
But I guess
But
it was more towards an entrepreneur where your
Oh.
schedule is flexible.
yeah, but to the average person, their schedule might be more. I think being self-employed is a lot different
Yeah,
because
yeah. I guess
you can schedule things out later, earlier, whatever it is. But when you're working for somebody, you're kind of either 9 to 5 or maybe it's after hours. Sometimes that's what they're saying here. You want to make sure set boundaries where it's like at a certain time, like I just have to shut down because it's family time is really what you have to kind of figure out. But it depends on your job.
so. Yes, I guess if you work from home, you have more flexibility in any job, unless you have a manager that's calling you every 2 seconds to make sure, or like watching. I don't know how, but whatever, you know what I mean. But yes, in the sense of what you're saying, if I'm in the office, yeah, then you need to find, I guess, clear. But then in the office, you would have a clear schedule because you're in the office. You should just be working then. Then I guess the setting clear work hours in this situation in the office would just take breaks, work when you're working, and stop working. But I think it's also more of a because it's a managing personal and family time, I guess, with your work. I think that also refers to people who are like, let's say we're at the beach. I guess it's the gym run example came to my head. And then you're on your phone working and you're not even involved with the kids or with your wife. Like you have to learn to disconnect. That's also something I worked on.
I mean, like I'm at Costco and I'm on the phone responding to emails.
Yeah, that's all the guys. Like we're in Costco and then you hear all the guys, oh yeah, so tell them I'm gonna return the call. I'm like, you guys are at Costco or you're working? But I can't hate on that because you know, like if you have to take a work call. But and Costco isn't really like, you know, family time. It's like just like I just don't want to go to the store by myself. Wifeys we don't really like care to. Like it's nicer when the husband goes with you. But if you're having family time and then you're at the beach or you're playing games or something and then your husband is just like this or your wife, like no, you need to disconnect, be present, and then you can do emails after. So yeah, I think you just need to learn to separate. Involving your family, yeah, I guess if you're working from home, definitely like this is my schedule. When the doors close, maybe like don't come in. You know, I might be on a call or something. If the door is open, it's okay, but have boundaries for that. And then you can say we have family time when the kids get home or something like that. So I guess find a schedule that works for everyone and everybody is on the same page and be present. So yeah, basically, unplugging leads to greater focus. A 2019 American Psychological Association study concluded that regularly disconnecting from work-related emails and devices improve overall mental health and work presence. So you see, it's better for your health too. Learn to disconnect. Like you guys can't just always be on. Like it's really like I guess that's what creates burnout too. And then stink attitude people because you're just like on. Open family communication reduces conflict. And yeah, define work. A study in the Journal of Occupational Health Psychology found that professionals who set firm work boundaries reported higher family satisfaction and lower stress level. So communication. And I guess that kind of basically goes back into time blocking. Family time block. Yeah. You know, weekends are just for family. Office don't call me. Like, you know, like it's okay to learn to say no to your bosses sometimes because the boss isn't always right. Some bosses have no boundaries. Like, you know, you have to leave family time for some people. Like your boss can always be, and especially if you're not paying people after hours, I think sometimes you just need to like realize that maybe as the boss, you're the problem.
One thing we didn't talk about was about using project management tools.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah,
we're
yeah.
ahead
Chris loves tools.
like Asana, Trello, Monday.com.
I'm more of a notebook person.
Yeah. So if you don't like the notebook type stuff, you want to be more, I guess, modern and on the go. Whereas, you know, if her book is at home, she on the road, she doesn't remember, oh, what was that thing in the book? Now, if you had it on your phone, you'll be able to see
Now I
it.
take screenshots.
Yeah. Oh, screenshots. You're so fancy. But yeah, the thing about when you use those tools is that you can go ahead and send you reminders.
Yeah.
You did it, you didn't do it. You could check it off on the tool. It'll send you an email to you, but you'd probably check more often than you would
Nicer to have a colored pencil.
at anything else, you know. And I do use stuff. We have our own software that we have for that, but that's more between us and staff in between to remind them about stuff that they have to do. But I think that's something definitely would go ahead and use. I've tried to get her to use the task, like she'll just tell me the task instead of putting it into the system. But
well, technically, if you want to get technical, we also have. I do use technology for family stuff. I love using notes, and I share notes with the boys. So we have like a grocery list notes. You would think that the kid who lives on technology will ever use it. I don't think that child has ever logged in one day. Oh, we need more honey. Can you put it in the grocery? And my notes list is fly. We have the Costco list, the Publix list, the Aldi list, the dollar store. Like it is by store. Can you just put it where it goes? Or you don't even have to put it where it goes. Just put it and mama will fix it to where it goes. But no, they're going to tell me all day what we need to for the groceries. And then I have to go to the share list to add it. So I think it kind of works both ways.
Yeah, but yeah, stuff is so complicated. Either just tell you because then you can complain how we didn't put in the right section or I didn't see it. So, yeah.
I will see it if you update it on the notes list.
Yeah, move on.
So it still goes back to processes and then using tools. Whatever tools works for you that saves you time, whether it's on paper or an app, just find a system that works for you. Building a sustainable routine, review and adjust your schedule. So that's what I said earlier. Like I'm always working on whatever works for me at the time, and it's okay for your routine to change from month to month or whatever works for you at that time, and try different things until you find exactly what's going to make you the best schedule. I think it's a great way to go.
I think one tip for, I guess, any entrepreneur or business person or manager, whoever, or just anybody just working, period. I think you should start your day out with some type of a mental focus, whether we like to start with either motivational videos, a quote, something, a God prayer for the day, or something that's to keep your mind open to something positive, because the world is so negative all the time. You want to start out on a positive note. It shouldn't be something. She got me into this one where it's just like avoid checking the email first, because you might see a email from a client that's just being stank or something, to try and do something more positive to get your day on the right foot, versus, going on social media too. We might see some news about something to just piss you off.
Yeah. So that's the personal development part of your day, which is
Yeah.
how you start the day. That's a good point. I wasn't even thinking about that. Your day should start no matter, everybody's schedule is different. I have more time. So I'm going to take my time for my morning routine, is what I call it. But some people, even if it's something small, like stretch, if you can do an hour of yoga, but at least stretch while you're stretching or while you're making your coffee or your breakfast. Yes, listen to something that's going to benefit your mental, like you said, a prayer, or they have on YouTube, they have so many motivational videos. So how you start your day is how your day is going to go. So start it fortified. Do not check email. Do not check your phone. Do not check social media first thing when you wake up. They actually said that you shouldn't check your phone or any technology 30 minutes from the time you wake up. And it's been proven that sunlight for your eyes when you wake up is a good way to start your day. I think it does something to your mental, and then it lets your brain knows that you're going. So some kind of like daylight, usually for me it's when I'm walking the dog. So that gets me going outside. Grounding. There's so many things you can add to your morning routine, like your water with lemon, like just to start the day. But the priority is try to do something to move your body, even if it's just a stretch. Do not pick up your phone for the first 30 minutes. No social media, no emails, because you don't want to start your day with people's attitude. You want to start your day with a great positive outlook. Eat something healthy. Start your day with protein and journaling. I journal, but you don't have to journal. But I think those three main things are like something that would be important. Stretch, listen, do not touch your phone for 30 minutes, and listen to something positive. If you do at least those three things, I think you would start your day way better.
Yeah. And just so you guys are aware, this is going to be a whole other topic we're going to go into at some point, the whole morning routine and daily motivational stuff at some point, because that's a whole topic by itself we can talk about for a while.
That's true.
So,
and then, start your day with your top 3 tasks. So for work, like, whatever your top 3 for the day, this, you have to call this client maybe because it's a big deal, or follow up, whatever your first top 3. Once you have your top 3, you can move on to whatever other task you have. And that's something I told Chris I wanted to work on. We don't celebrate anything. So have you ever seen those MLM? They celebrate everything, like all kind of small wins. And then big wins, they have a trip for everything. So I think it's a good way, and it works for them, because I heard that when you celebrate the small things, it reinforces, create reinforcement in your brain, and it goes to your subconscious that you've done, and then you're going to get a reward, so that your brain is going to try to do more of that thing. So you're going to be always winning. And I think it's in the Stoic book too. That's a big book. I don't remember the name of the book, but I know everybody's read that book. Even Kaylee's read the book, I think this year or last year. But yeah, talking about books, 2 books that I like that are on the subject were The 12-Week Year. I read that one and I tried to apply it. It was short-lived, but I'm working on adding it back after I do some stuff. But it's a really good book. The 12-Week Year and The 4-Hour Work Week, I think, are 2 good books on time management, and just read them. They give you ideas. The 4-Work Week was the one that first got me thinking about the delegating. And he talks about, like, even if you don't have a job, like a housewife should delegate to a virtual assistant, like, and it was based on what you were saying, buying back your time, just so you can have time to do whatever. He's like, even if it's just laying by the beach, it's your time. You want to live your best life. So those are 2 good books to read. Even if you don't have your stay-home wife, you always want to create schedules for the house and stuff like that anyway. So I think all kind of like scheduling tips works for work or for home. So yeah, people, the morning planning boosts performance. The American Management Association reports that starting the day with a clear plan increase efficiency by up to 25%. So I think that would be your three, starting with your morning routine and then your three top priorities. That's what that is. And it works. You see, the research says so. And positive reinforcement encourages consistency. So I guess that would be listening to your motivational stuff and then having a routine and all that. I think when you're more productive, you feel more productive and you accomplish things, it builds confidence too. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, that goes back to the same thing I said kind of earlier. Do what works for you because it's all a motivational mental thing. That's why I said I feel more comfortable in my crazy madness of kind of ADD schedule than I would trying to be stuck in doing certain things. So you have to find what works for you and what makes you productive. I think the way things are, kind of works for us somewhat. There's definitely improvements we need to make for sure.
Yeah.
But over time, you have to just keep working at it. I mean, nothing, even the schedule is going to just be something you have to, figure out over time and, keep nicking at it every little bit. But that's the point of the whole motivational books to kind of get you in a groove. We did say in the disclaimer in the beginning that we're not perfect at it. It's all a work in progress that we're trying to do more of it over time. But as you see, if you don't know about things, you won't ever get to implement them. So
Yeah. So just try and then whatever works for you.
yeah, definitely figure things out. Because it's the dwindle away, but like tools, like people still use Excel to do like an invoice, like this stuff like QuickBooks.
That's crazy.
So stuff like that is a time saver. Updating Excel and doing that type of stuff is just a waste of time.
And sometimes spending the money learned from someone who I hate. So this, I had to learn to tell myself, I heard that from someone too. What's the investment going to be for this? Instead of saying, how much is this going to cost me? Because then I can just see dollar signs going out. So if I say, what's the investment for this, is that I expect something to return back. So I know if I invest in it, I would get something back.
That person is me because she
No,
was
that
looking
wasn't
at,
you.
yes, that's me because you look at it as an expense, and I'm like, okay, no, it's as you said, it's an investment.
Yeah. But it wasn't from you. It was from my new manifestation check.
Of course, you see. But I've heard her say the exact same thing to me. What is the investment going to be? She rephrased it back, but
Yeah,
anyway,
because I learned that from her.
yeah, but whatever. Anyways, next topic.
Okay, so that was it for time management. I hope everyone got some great tips on that one. The algorithm is the new god. How tech, social media, and AI are shaping what we believe. I thought that was a very important topic because in our days, everyone is just on their phone and getting all their information from their phone. And it's for everything, for any kind of subject. It's for beauty, for spiritual, for politics, for everything. So now basically a computer or app or social media is telling us all our information. But the question is all that information always accurate, or is it really telling us what it thinks and then now it's brainwashing us? That's the question on this topic. So a moment when social media algorithm dramatically influenced my perspective, that's going to be politics. That's the first thing that comes to mind. It's when we had the election of 2016 and we had Orange Men Bad. And I saw clips and I used to think, oh my God, this dude is such a douche and he's so racist and stuff, because that's what the media was pushing in small clips and stuff. And I wasn't so into politics at the time as I am now. So I wasn't really watching full things. I was going based on what the social media basically was really telling me. I wasn't even going much further than social media. I was getting my news from social media. And then when I decided, someone told me, or I saw a different perspective, And I said, let me look more into it so I can make a proper opinion on facts instead of what's been brought up to me. And I realized that it was all BS and it's just propaganda. So from then on, I would not take anything from clips. I watch the whole thing. I make my own opinion and I will watch different views. So from both sides, so I can make my own opinion on things. And it's the same thing with health because I see something, someone, today's guru might tell me that, oh, I should put some cucumbers on my hair. I'm just being dramatic, because it's going to be, it might not make any sense. So if I see that now, I will do my own research to make sure, or did they make a research that did they have research that did talk about that would make me feel better knowing that it might be backed on something instead of foolishness. So the point is we're taking all this information thinking it's facts, but it's not always. It's just an agenda that's pushed to us. So the point of this is people should do their own research, which is what we disclaimed at the beginning of in the first introduction episode. Always do your own research. Don't even take only our word on anything. That's why we put the show notes so that you can use that to do your own research so you can form your own opinion.
Yeah, I think the thing with social media these days, everything is about polarizing and either enraging people or getting attention for their comments, the clicks. They put a weird headline and you're like,
Clickbait.
and it's like, oh, this is full of shit, blah, blah, blah. You're lying. And it's crazy. It's like you got you to look at that and you go straight to the comments and be like, this is ridiculous. This is a lie, whatever. But to the algorithm, it still works because there's so many comments that's coming on, whether it's negative or positive, it's still doing what the person wanted. And that the algorithm is still pushing that to the top. Like there was that post that I showed you the other day with I think it was with the French guy or something and with this other guy. And the whole point of it was like, wow, this guy is crazy. This guy's such an asshole. They're like this rich kid, the rich kid one that is on
I
Instagram.
remember you talking about.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this is crazy. He's such an asshole. He's saying like, oh, my dad, this would never happen if it was my dad, and I'm a rich kid. Do you know who I am? But it was just all this kid, but it seems so real, and the way he was being, but everything is just like all a joke anymore. Like there needs to be a way to be like, this is just comedy. This isn't something that really happened, because it was on a page like a Miami page. You think the Miami page was like a local something that happened, somebody recorded. Everybody records everything these days.
You don't know what's fiction from
you don't know what's
truth.
fiction from the truth. And if you didn't really read the comments, which you love reading the comments, it said, hey, he's just a comedian. It was just a skit. But you don't know that. If you just took it as face value, you wouldn't know. And that's the point of reading the comments sometimes, or if there's a little disclaimer, would be awesome. Like the algorithms need to have the platforms, I guess, but it's Instagram, TikTok, wherever. To me, there needs to be something that says, this is AI, this is real, something. It needs to be something that reads information out there that ties in with this particular post. And I guess they kind of have that fact-checking thing, but
let's not go down the fact check.
well,
BS.
I think the fact-checking needs to go a bit beyond the fact-checking, because they try to do fact-checking more in a political nonsense, which isn't always correct. There's always a bias. But even beyond that, like things not to be fact-checked, period. There's like AI videos that they created on, you see like, oh, a whale with like, they're picking off stuff off the whale now, like these little things, and oh, that's kind of cool. But then if you can tell the way AI is driven now, it's just a fake thing. I see them where they're like, cleaning off the whale with the brush and whatever. You're like, oh, that's crazy, all the stuff on the whale. But no, it's fake. Like, but it's like the way technology is progressing. You can take, oh, we saw the video of what? Of apparently now you could become your OnlyFans creator. You could take somebody's body,
oh yeah, that's
or your
crazy.
face, and you could turn yourself into somebody else. Where I'm a guy, but I could become a woman. I'm doing all my stuff or whatever.
It's crazy.
Technology is just coming to a certain way where it's just like it's becoming so fake, and
it has its pros and its cons.
Yeah, pros and cons. It encourages, not encourages, but it helps people find other source of income or something to do with themselves, which I think is kind of cool, the influencer type stuff. But the influencer stuff also has a point where it has to be a certain level of morality and involvement with the truth, I guess, should be put out more. Because everything is always little sound bites of something where it triggers you or something. As you said in the beginning, the whole political stuff, like everything is getting so politicized and they just want you to be upset. They don't tell you the real story behind it. And especially in politics, you have to go ahead and I think people just stop being left and right and try to start being more in the middle and start seeing both sides of the story.
Open-minded.
Be more open-minded. I think people need to realize that the media isn't always your friend. And this is somebody you might think because I'm a Trump supporter, but we believe in both sides have their values. But I think the fact that the left and the right is a problem. You got to figure out the middle and see. And that's the problem with a lot of those clickbait stuff is that it never really shows you the positive side of something. And the media will never want the other side of the party to look good is the problem. They don't want you to sway over this way or come more middle or more left. They either have to go extreme this way or extreme that way. And that is the problem where they don't win, you know? Whether you believe in Trump, you don't like him, or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But if somebody does something good, it's something good. And they should be not biased and show it. Like you'll never see CNN put, oh, Trump did something well, or he did something good. He gave away this money to something, or he paid something, or, back to, I guess, a couple of weeks ago where Elon Musk went ahead and he saved some astronauts. The last administration left them up there for 9 months in space. If you see the lady, how she looks from the beginning.
That was so creepy. You sent that to me.
She is like bones. She was supposed to be there, I think, for like 9 days or something, but they got stuck because something with the ship and something.
And she looks actually aged badly.
But that's because apparently when you go to space, there's something with your body. Like the time, you don't age the same in space for whatever reason. So it's also a health thing that she should have been saved sooner. And it's a political thing again, whether you believe it or not. They didn't want to have Elon Musk to be the savior in that scenario. Whether there's more in the back end, who knows, doesn't matter. He ended up saving them, but it wasn't a topic that was covered because right now, Elon Musk is the bad guy, so he could not be the savior of these people.
When we reach the political part, I guess I'll touch some more on that. But, well, I guess this fact is kind of unpolitical too, but it's true because look, it says a report 72% of Americans sometimes or often encounter news or information that clearly tailored to their online behavior. Well, that's not only political, but meaning, so 72% of people, you're going to get your news from your point of view, which that's not how it should be. You shouldn't get your news from facts, from what's happening.
Yeah.
But because it's an algorithm now, so it's pushing what you're interested in. And it shouldn't be pushing what you're interested in, especially when it comes to politics or news. It should be pushing what's facts. It should be pushing what you're interested in when it comes to fashion or beauty. But when it comes to news and what's happening in the world and politics, it should be pushing facts, not extremes.
Yeah, that is so true. The political side of the algorithm needs to be changed.
Yes.
Because if you're all into the Trump derangement thing, they call it, all they're going to show you is stuff to piss you off. And you're going to stay in that state of being pissed off. And then you're going to wonder, oh, these people are so bad. That's why people out there going and burning down Teslas and stuff because all they're seeing is, oh, Elon Musk did this. He took away Social Security. He took away this. But they're not hearing the rest of that story. Just enough to get
clips.
Just the clip that shows you, oh, he did this. He took it away. But not hearing the reason why he did it or whatever happened. Or maybe he fixed it. It's easy to go ahead and put out something and then correct it. Because the correction is never going to get seen because it's just the angry part you're going to hear.
Yeah, because then it's going to keep you more on the app. It's going to keep you commenting, reading the comments, getting pissed, and you're going to get involved. And now you're just involved in this nonsense and you're pissed and it's just ridiculous. So that needs to be fixed. And then A study by the University of Pennsylvania found that algorithms can reinforce confirmation bias by showing content that aligns with using the existing belief. That's basically what we're saying. So that has been proven. So to me, if something has been proven in research, it should be fixed. But we're not holding those apps and social media platforms accountable for that, which is a big problem. And you see, engagement over accuracy, like they have all the numbers and the research for that, but it's all about engagement, not about facts. And that's becoming a big problem. Like I remember when, and we were talking about that the other day, like I told you, journalism is not what it used to be. You used to watch the news and you used to see this journalist stuck in this big tornado or this journalist about to die in some war zone reporting the news. And now you don't see that anymore. Like all I see is Orange Man bad or a Tesla being burned. Like, where's the real news? Why is that not trending? Where are the facts? Where is what actually happening today? Not what stupid propaganda you want to get an emotion out of me of. And the fact that people already just get their news only from social media, they're not going to make an effort to actually read a newspaper or get it from a proper platform is another problem. And they know that's happening. So they're just like using it to keep people engaged on their algorithm.
Yeah, it even comes down to even the health situation too. If you're looking into just the food and fatty stuff, it's never gonna show you the other side of the health spectrum where it's like in, let's say, my feed versus yours, you might be showing a lot of, here, this particular food and this is good for you and this fatty thing, pushing the whole unhealthy lifestyle versus in, let's say, my feed is showing you alternative medicines, better sleep schedules, or little motivational tips to keep your mind focused, or eat this particular vegetable or something to fix brain fog or whatever it is. Like, it really keeps you in, algorithms keep you in a certain bubble that doesn't really expose you to different parts of reality,
Or different opinions.
different opinions. Yeah.
It just keeps reinforcing whatever you picked in the beginning, and that just keeps going, which is not a really good thing. According to a 2022 study by the Reuters Institute, more than half of respondents said they encountered news on social media platform before reading it from a traditional source. So that goes back to saying that you see people are just getting their news. They're not really reading newspapers like they used to. Next week recommendation algorithm drives 80% of views on the platform. And there's a study that found that 55% of social media users in the US say they regularly see political posts on their feed, and it often shaped by the algorithm predicts the engagement with most. So basically, all the studies and the facts are that the algorithm and social media needs to find something more regulated because it's basically forming people's opinion. Not only political, it's forming people's opinion in every way. And it's making people very biased instead of showing them, like you said, different opinions and opening people's point of views, which is back to what we were discussing last week, like why people are so divided now and you can't have proper conversation because people are stuck on this social media and they're scrolling and they're stuck on this extremes now instead of being in the middle and being open to different opinions. Like, I don't think I should be on social media looking at a lady yelling. Well, what was the last one I told you that was ridiculous? I was done with the internet. She was crying because something about a Tesla, like, come on, like, dude, like, it's become really bad. You can't be like this cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, dude. Like, people are like completely delusional now. And it's really, really become bad. You know who are never going to be short of business? Psychiatrists and psychologists, because we're going to craziness. It's really, really breaking people's mental health. So yeah, a 2021 MIT study showed that Twitter's algorithm amplifies political content from certain groups more than others. So now it's going to be basically whoever paid the best for better ads, or whichever party can push more content. So that's not how it's supposed to be. And that's not how it used to be. And then now there's critical thinking decline. A study found that the reliance on created feeds can lead to lower levels of analytical thinking, and users become more accustomed to passively consuming pre-filtered information. I truly believe that. People can't think for themselves anymore. And people can't fact check. People are not reading newspapers. People are probably not reading, period. You know, the fact that they tell you that people who are reading are like the top 1% reads book. Everybody should read a book. Like, it shouldn't be left to the top 1%. Like, you know what I mean? So people have to open themselves. And if all you only consuming a content from what your feed gave you, you're going to have a big problem. I think a best way, since your feed is what's feeding you.
Yeah.
You like the word on play on word, whatever. It's feeding you. Then maybe try putting a little bit, especially for political, putting a little bit of the left and a little bit of the right, follow both, different pages from both, so that you can have a different point of view from both and you can get some facts from both sides. And then I always say, there is one side, the truth, one side tells you the truth from the other side, and the truth is always in the middle. Like the real truth is always in the middle, because everyone always has an opinion, another opinion, and the real truth is in the middle. So if you get information from both sides, you can make a better opinion, factual opinion. Basically, yeah, it's time we reclaim what we believe. So that basically what I said, seeking diverse perspective. We should demand transparency and accountability from those apps. I think we should have better regulation. I don't think they do a very good job at regulating those apps. Sometimes they do, but it's like once every 3 years. Like they might put Facebook, like on the spot, yeah, in the hot seat, but it doesn't really happen. So I think we need to come up with better system, and definitely for politic content, that it can be biased and that the algorithm should not only show you one way, it has to push different opinions to people. So I don't know how that would look, but there has to be something.
Yeah, I think so, because, yeah, I mean, realistically, I think that's something I guess the government would have to enforce, something like that. And sadly to say, I don't want to be political, but I think this administration would be the only one who would be the one to go ahead and push that, because the algorithms are winning, and I think on the other side of things. But
Democrats are from a marketing point, Democrats are really good with marketing, paying celebrities to endorse, having concerts. Very good at marketing. I can give them that. They really know how to get the word out and how to do propaganda very well. That's not that's like a marketing standpoint. They do a very good job, and they spend the coins on doing exactly that. So
I think the key too is really not even the algorithm's fault. Is you have to develop into a better person as well. I think you have to open yourself up and go beyond, I guess listen to podcasts like ours, where they try to introduce
that's bias.
They introduce you to different things and perspectives and different topics and opinions. I mean, although we have our biases in certain things, but at least we try to see both sides of the spectrum. At least we believe we're trying to be a little neutral on things. And it's really just having to open your mind into different point of views and questioning everything, questioning why is certain things happening? Like why is obesity so prevalent now than it was, 30, 40 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
The foods have changed, the medications have changed, the stuff we've been influencing in our lives. I mean, things are just not as healthy as they used to be. The 20,000 ingredients for, French fry. French fry is just, potato. Why we have this oil, that oil, this starch, this particular thing in there.
It was like the chicken we saw today. Like, why are we adding potato starch to the grilled chicken?
Well, I Googled why. I ChatGPT'd why, But I think questioning everything is really the key. And I think as a society, we have to evolve and go beyond what the internet is telling us. And I guess it's really just, I think if you don't evolve, you just get stuck in a bubble that gets you nowhere. Because these days, the bubble that most people are in is the rage bubble. And whether, even if, let's say, Trump did bad stuff, whatever it is, I mean, at the end of the day, why are you sticking yourself in that angry bubble? Like,
Jesus Christ, there's no need to
no
put your
benefit to
fingers
that.
in your butt to then put it on a Tesla window. There's no need to have a TikTok video of you yelling and crying over it. It's all irrelevant. Like, that goes back to self-care and time management. You're just wasting your energy and your time on BS.
Like,
That's irrelevant to your life.
Like, it's definitely good to know what's going on and not be in a bubble, but at the end of the day, stuff like politics should not make you angry. It should not shut down your life. Sure, this maybe people get too preoccupied in situations that really has nothing to really even do. Like, yes, you should be concerned about other people, but at the end of the day, these little things are not even affecting like your life at all. That's the part that's so crazy to me about certain people, is you get so angry but something does not involve affect you in one way or the other. Like, I don't know why we like that and getting all upset and popping brain cells and need therapy because
It's crazy.
of something simple as, let's say, Elon Musk is doing the certain thing. Like, okay, it's happening. What can you do about it? What is your crying and kicking and screaming really gonna solve? It's not gonna do anything but besides affect your life, your mental status.
It's giving you anxiety for
You
no
giving you
reason.
anxiety, and you're gonna get a heart attack. Let's be realistic.
Pop a vein or something.
You know
Like,
what I
it's
mean?
not
Like,
good.
it's not healthy overall. So I think it's, at the end of the day, Elon Musk is sleeping like a baby at night.
Facts.
He's not worried one bit. He feels he's doing the world service, whether you believe it or not. So to him, he's just looking at you in the mirror. He's moving forward. While you popping veins, he's doing great.
I didn't like the last administration, but I didn't lose sleep or cry on no TikTok over it. It's, like, you do what you can.
Yeah.
Like, if it makes sense, it's legal, and you can make a change, then go ahead and do that. But you crying and yelling in your car or in your room on a TikTok video is not doing anything except giving you anxiety and making you look like a crazy person.
Yeah, like we felt the last administration, made our business, not our business directly, but the economy overall suffer, and we would definitely don't like him. We would like them to be out, but we're not out there saying, oh, let's go and kill this guy or hope he gets bombed and this will happen to him. Like, it's just, it is what it is. You make the best out of it.
Yeah, you make the best out of it. You wait for the 4 years and you just hope for the best for the next year, the next term. Like, so basically, I guess to recap this one, the algorithm are definitely affecting how people think. They are definitely very biased on forming people's opinion and keeping people in a certain state, which benefits the platform, the social media platform, but it doesn't benefit the person. So I'm not saying that AI and technology is a bad thing, but we need to make it work for us. We need to find a way where AI can benefit us, but also where it's not taking over us, so that people can still think for themselves, people have proper information. And I definitely think that when it comes to politics, the algorithm should be different and should have certain restrictions on what it shows people. And it shouldn't be allowed to show people only one side. It should show facts, and it should show facts on both sides so that people can make their own opinion. And also, for that to work, I think that people need to get back to reading, to doing things that's just not only scrolling through a through an app so that you can still be able to think for yourself instead of getting enraged on an app about things that are completely irrelevant or unnecessary.
Yeah, I think this goes back to the previous topic we were discussing where how the government or people in general trying to keep you in a certain mental state to keep you dumbed down. Because if people actually learn what's happening out there or the real issues or the real benefits of changing your lifestyle or stuff like that, you would be a better society. Like we can't have people that all doing amazing, but they want you to be stuck and be stupid. Stuck in the world of the WAP and all that type of stuff and eating the junk food and the processed food and just kicking and screaming, because you're kicking and screaming for political stuff because Trump is bad, is helping them win. Why don't let them win? Your outrage is making the other side win. And that's really what it is. I mean, you don't want to have people, and all this stuff is just creating a dumber society, greater society. We need to try and bring ourselves back in the middle to be thinkers again, as you were saying. Critical thinking for yourself and not be everything influenced by, the algorithms. Information is out there. Be a little more open.
Yep. I guess that's it for today.
Yep.
I hope you guys got some value. If you have any tips for productivity that you guys want to share or any hacks or whatever that you guys use, please put it in the comments. I'm always looking for another hack or another tip on productivity. Chris is going to try the blocking method and I will let you know how that works out for him.
Out very easily.
Right. And then that's about it. So please make sure to like this video. Follow us on all our social media platform at Bun and Build Podcast. Subscribe. I think I said follow and like already. And we hope you enjoyed this show. And please make sure to tune in next week, next Wednesday. We will see you for the next show. This was Bun and Build with Chris and Cappy.
See you guys.